Hello, everybody, and today we are doing What If Deku had the quirk Chronos. This was based off me scrounging the internet for ideas because I've been sick and I was looking for something to do because the other series hadn't been that popular, honestly. And yeah, I've been sick the past few days, guys, so yeah, I would not. It would have been horrible if I recorded. My nose would have just destroyed it. Anyway, so Chronos, the quirk, allows Izuku to travel back in time and to stop time. Every time he travels back or freezes time, he'll get headaches. Depending on how far and for how long will determine the severity of the headaches. His eyes will glow when he travels back and or freezes time. His wings that he will have are connected to his quirk. His wings are made of energy that he has within him, so he can make them disappear and reappear, as you'd imagine. His quirk can also summon any object or material that he wants. The more energy he currently has within him will obviously transfer to more material he can summon. Every time he summons something that is too much for him or just too big, his energy will drain and he will feel tired. And if it's just way too hard for him, he will pass out. He can dispose the object by putting it back through the portal, which he gets his items from, as you can see through the intro. For the rest of the video, though, I will be having our thumbnail in the picture because you see there's a guy called Anime Outlet and he does the exact same thing and he gets like 26,000 views in like a couple days, so it's pretty good. So yeah, this is Clone Stories and we are going on to part 1 of this video. Chapter 1, The Childhood. Okay, everybody. So, we started the first chapter off when Izuku is first born. Inko Midoriya and Hisashi Midoriya had been struggling financially for a little while by now. And Inko suggested to Hisashi, even though she really didn't like it, maybe that he should take that job offer in America because he'd been let off a couple times already now. And that promotion from his old job that would go to America. And Hisashi says, but what about the kid? As Inko says, I'm sorry, Hisashi, but we need money for this baby. And we don't have much right now. So how's this? You come back in 19 years and by then you should have enough promotions to have gotten us lots of money and yourself. So then you can come back and we can raise our child for as long as he's still with us. As Hisashi says, all right, Inko. As he goes over to his child, who is currently in... How could I forget this? Wherever they usually are, where they put the babies. I get angry at myself that I forgot this, but yeah. Birthing center, I don't know. Anyway, Izuku looks over to his dad and quickly gets both hands on his finger and starts playing around with it. As Hisashi says, goodbye, my son. I hope we can meet again someday. I really do. As Izuku gets his whole body around Hisashi's arm as he says goodbye. As he hugs his wife and, drives off to America. Obviously to an airport, then to America, but So Izuku looks over to his mother, and his mother, from that point on, had a very close relationship with her son, Chrono. Chrono Midoriya. Yeah. So, we'll do this because the quirk, Chronos, and Chrono feels a pretty good name, but I'm still going to call him Izuku sometimes because that's how I work. Anyway, Chrono, he grew up being quite sheltered by his mother, and of course, Chrono didn't get that much friends because he was very sheltered by Inko because she was scared for him. She really wanted her husband to see their son all grown up one day. So, the only friend Izuku had and barely ever saw was Katsuki Bakugo. And every time they did see each other, it was for a couple minutes before Inko quickly found him and took him back. So, at that time, Katsuki, one time when they were in their, secret meet, Izuku asked, "So what's your quirk, Katsuki?" As Katsuki says, "Oh, my quirk? It's explosion. I can emit explosions from my hands, but they hurt me right now. What's yours?" As Izuku sprouts wings from his back and says, "Right now I can't do much." As he says, "I can do this, though." As his eyes start glowing blue, and he quickly runs and taps on his friend's shoulder, and quickly runs back to the spot he was in, as his eyes begin glowing blue, as he stops using his quirk, as the blue quickly goes away. As Katsuki says, "Who's there?" As he sees no one's behind him, as he says, "Did you see somebody?" As Izuku says, "Silly, that was my quirk. I can stop time. And I think I can rewind it too, but I have no reason to do that." As Katsuki says, "Oh my gosh, Izuku, that's amazing." Not as good as mine, though. Obviously. No one can be better than mine. No quirk. Even if you had All Might's quirk, I'm pretty sure it'd still be a little worse than mine. Just saying. Because it's kind of the best one in Japan and in the whole world. Our classmates even said so. As Izuku's like, "Yeah, I know. I mean, Chrono. I told you guys it would happen. I told you. I even in the thumbnail it says, 'What if Izuku?' Sad face." Anyway, Izuku, Chrono, quickly was yelled at by his mother and says, "Izuku, come back to the house immediately." As when he gets there, he says, "What is it, Mom?" As Inka still called him sometimes by Izuku because that's what their father wanted to name him. But she didn't really. But she still kept sentiment to the name and called him by that sometimes. And that was sort of his nickname to his mother. As she says, "Well, Chrono, I do want to let you know you should not be sneaking out to see friends. As much as I'm happy for you making friends, there's some dangerous people out there." As Chrono's like, "Yeah, I know, Mom." And she scolds him like, "But you don't. You haven't experienced it. Bad things can happen. There are villains that can do horrendous stuff." As he's like, I know, Mom. You've told me lots and lots of times." As she says, "Whatever, just do something." As she walks away. And Chrono thinks, maybe I should keep using my quirk. I wonder what would happen if I just, as his eyes start glowing, and he rewinds time back to when his conversation with Bakugo started, and starts talking to his friend like, oh, hi Katsuki, as Katsuki says, oh, hi Izuku. I mean, Chrono. As Chrono's like, oh, it's fine. As Chrono then says, so my quirk, it's rewinding time and stopping time. I can also protrude these wings from my back. As he's like, oh, okay. As Izuku says, I actually rewound to this point in time. We've already had this conversation. As Bakugo's like, that's weird. Really? How far in the future are you from? As Izuku says, around like 8 minutes. As Katsuki says, oh, that's so cool. It might be cooler than mine though. As Chrono says, well, see ya. As the original Chrono begins talking with him. And yeah, that happens. So for the next couple years, until Izuku was around 11, his mother began giving him more and more freedom because he began getting quite strong with his quirk that was quite obviously overpowered. He could save himself from lots of situations. Maybe not a situation for like all for one, but situations, you know. So, yeah, Izuku Chrono kept on getting more and more friends, and he was quite popular. Not even as close to as popular as Bakugo, but quite popular. And Katsuki didn't see him as an underling, because they were genuinely friends for their entire life. So, Chrono, one day went up to Bakugo when they were in the 8th grade on nearly their last day and asked him, so, what school are you signing up for? As Katsuki says, you know it. As Chrono says, oh, that one? As Katsuki says, obviously. As Chrono says, just say UA then. I know it's UA. As Bakugo says, yeah, it's not that hard. The best hero training school in the entire country. Obviously, I'll want to go to it because I'm the strongest one here. As Chrono says, uh-huh. As Katsuki says, how far are you from in the future? As Chrono says, oh, I'm present, actually. As Katsuki says, oh, okay. Well, Chrono, I do want to let you know, though, this can be quite annoying if, say, I were a villain. Like, imagine all the bad things you could do. As Chrono says, As they walk away from their little talking, Izuku goes back to his house. When Chrono was given a phone into his face by his mother, and Ingo says, talk to your father. This is the first time you will be meeting him. As Chrono says, oh really? As he hops onto the phone. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where we'll be leaving off for part 1. And, well, part 1, aka chapter 1. The entirety of his childhood. So, that is where I'll be leaving off. And, yeah, if you guys want a part 2, say it. Either way, I'm doing it. I don't really care. I like this story. And, yeah, so this is Clone Stories signing off. Bye-bye.